Welcome back, everyone. It's great to have you here. In today's video, we're diving into the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher whose teachings still inspire millions around the world. We'll explore 10 powerful lessons of desire from his writings that can help us stay calm, strong, and focused in the face of life's challenges. Let's get started.
1. The mind freed from passions is an impenetrable fortress. A person has no more secure place of refuge for all time. He reminds us that true strength and safety in life do not come from wealth, power, or even other people, but from within ourselves, specifically, from a mind that has mastered its emotions. Passions like anger, jealousy, greed, or lust often control us, leading to poor decisions and unnecessary suffering. But when we learn to recognize these emotions without acting blindly on them, we build a mental fortress no one can break through. For example, imagine losing someone you love, a breakup or betrayal. Most people would be consumed by pain, rage, or desperate actions. But the one who has trained their mind, as the Stoics teach, will feel the loss yet remain steady. They understand that while they cannot control another person's actions, they can always control their own response. In doing so, they protect their peace, dignity, and self-respect. This is the kind of inner strength Marcus speaks of, a place of refuge we carry with us always, untouchable by the chaos of the outside world. In the end, mastering our passions is not about being emotionless, but about being unshakable, free, calm, and fully in control, no matter what life throws our way. 2. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius shares a timeless Stoic principle. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This simple yet profound statement reflects the core of Stoic philosophy, the idea that true strength comes from within, not from trying to control the uncontrollable. At the heart of this quote is the distinction between what is within our control and what is not. According to Marcus, the only thing a person can truly govern is their own mind, their thoughts, perceptions, reactions, and choices. External events, on the other hand, remain forever unpredictable and beyond human control. People will disappoint us, plans will fail, accidents will happen, and life will rarely unfold exactly as we wish. If we attach our happiness or peace of mind to these external factors, we become vulnerable to constant emotional turmoil. However, Marcus teaches that the key to inner strength lies in understanding and accepting this reality. When we shift our focus inward, toward mastering our own thoughts and reactions, we free ourselves from being slaves to circumstances. The world outside may be chaotic, but our mind can remain steady, rational, and calm. This is where true power resides, not in controlling events, but in controlling ourselves. For example, imagine someone preparing extensively for an important job interview. They rehearse every answer, dress perfectly, and perform their best. Yet, despite their efforts, the company chooses another candidate. Many people would feel crushed, blame bad luck, or even question their self-worth. But from a Stoic perspective, the outcome of the interview was never truly theirs to control. What was within their power was the effort, preparation, and attitude they brought to the process. By accepting this, they preserve their confidence and peace of mind, ready to move forward rather than be defeated by one setback. Ultimately, Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the most secure and lasting strength comes not from dominating the world but from mastering our own minds. When we stop wasting energy fighting things we cannot change and instead focus on what we can, our choices, our judgments, our reactions, we discover a deep well of resilience. In that realization, we find true strength, the kind that carries us through both success and failure with grace and wisdom. 3. When you have assumed these names, good, modest, truthful, rational, a man of equanimity and magnanimous, take care that you do not change these names, and if you should lose them, quickly return to them. Marcus lists specific qualities: goodness, modesty, truthfulness, rationality, calmness, equanimity, and generosity, magnanimity, as the foundation of a virtuous life. To assume these names means not only to adopt these values but to live in a way that others recognize them in us. However, Marcus also warns how easy it is to drift away from these ideals, especially when faced with anger, temptation, or adversity. The real challenge is not simply declaring oneself good or rational but continuously being so, especially when it is difficult. The most profound part of his message is the instruction to quickly return to these virtues if we happen to lose them. Marcus understands human nature. No one is perfect. We will, at times, fail to live up to our own ideals. We might lie out of fear, act selfishly, or lose our temper. But these moments of weakness do not define us. What truly matters is our willingness to recognize our mistakes, correct ourselves, and return to the path of virtue without delay. For example, imagine a situation where someone at work unfairly criticizes you in front of others. The natural reaction might be to respond with anger, sarcasm, or even lies to protect your ego. In doing so, you stray from being modest, rational, and calm. However, remembering Marcus's words, you catch yourself. Instead of escalating the conflict, you pause, breathe, and choose to respond respectfully, or even remain silent. Later, you reflect on the moment and recommit to your values, knowing that a brief failure does not mean you have lost your character forever. This teaching is highly practical in modern life, where emotions, competition, and stress constantly challenge our integrity. Whether in relationships, business, or personal struggles, we are often tempted to abandon our values for short-term gain or revenge. Marcus reminds us that real strength lies not in winning arguments or proving others wrong, but in staying true to ourselves. If we ever lose our way, and we will, the noble thing is to return swiftly to the person we aim to be. In conclusion, this passage is a call to lifelong self-awareness and discipline. Our character is not a fixed label but a continuous practice. Virtue is not about being perfect but about persistently returning to what is right. By holding ourselves accountable and returning to goodness, modesty, and truth whenever we falter, we build a life of integrity and inner peace, the essence of Stoic wisdom. 4. Do not be carried away by imagination and appearances. Do not lose the rhythm and the measure. It is easy for people to lose themselves in appearances and assumptions. Often, what we see or imagine does not reflect reality, yet it shapes our emotions and actions more than we realize. Without careful attention, we risk being controlled by false impressions and losing our sense of balance. This timeless struggle was recognized by the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, who urged us to remain grounded and mindful in the face of life's many temptations and illusions. The first part, do not be carried away by imagination and appearances, reminds us of how easily the human mind can be influenced by what is superficial. Our imaginations create stories, assumptions, fears, or desires that may have little to do with reality. Similarly, appearances can be deceptive. We often judge people, situations, or even ourselves based on what we see or hear at the surface level, without truly understanding the facts. Marcus warns that allowing ourselves to be swept away by these false impressions can lead to poor decisions, emotional distress, and a distorted view of the world. The second part, do not lose the rhythm and the measure, speaks to the importance of balance and moderation in how we live. Rhythm and measure symbolize a steady, thoughtful approach to life, where actions and reactions are guided by reason rather than impulse. Losing this balance means giving in to extremes, excessive anger, greed, jealousy, or even excitement, which ultimately leads to chaos within ourselves. For example, imagine scrolling through social media and seeing someone constantly posting pictures of their luxurious lifestyle, expensive vacations, designer clothes, and lavish dinners. At first glance, this appearance may trigger feelings of jealousy or inadequacy. Your imagination might run wild, making you think, they must be so much happier, more successful than I am. If carried away by these thoughts, you might start chasing after similar material things, spending beyond your means, or feeling bitter about your own life. However, applying Marcus Aurelius's wisdom, you would pause and reflect. What I see is only the surface. I don't know their reality, their struggles, or if they're truly content. I must not lose my own rhythm and measure because of this illusion. Instead of being pulled off course, you stay grounded, focus on your values, and find gratitude in your own journey. This teaching is especially relevant today, where appearances often dominate, not just on social media but in daily interactions, marketing, and societal expectations. Marcus reminds us that wisdom comes from seeing through these illusions, staying mindful, and acting according to reason, not fleeting emotions. 5. Do not waste the remainder of your life in thoughts about others when you do not refer your thoughts to some object of common utility. This seemingly harsh statement, stripped of its context, can be misconstrued as a call to isolation or a dismissal of interpersonal relationships. However, a closer examination reveals a profound insight into the human condition and the imperative of a purposeful life. Aurelius, a Stoic emperor, advocates for a redirection of mental energy from unproductive rumination on others towards actions and reflections that contribute to the greater good. The core of this assertion rests on the distinction between idle speculation and purposeful contemplation. To dwell on the actions, motivations, and perceived flaws of others without a constructive aim is to squander the precious resource of one's own cognitive capacity. It is to become entangled in a web of external circumstances, relinquishing control over one's own internal state. This is not to suggest that we should ignore our fellow humans. Rather, it emphasizes the importance of filtering our thoughts through the lens of utility. What, then, constitutes a common utility? In the Stoic framework, this refers to actions and reflections that align with reason, virtue, and the well-being of the community. It encompasses the pursuit of justice, the cultivation of wisdom, and the performance of one's duties with integrity. It is about contributing to the harmonious functioning of the social fabric, rather than indulging in petty gossip or envious comparisons. Consider, for example, the following scenarios. Wasteful thought. A person spends hours obsessing over a colleague's perceived promotion, analyzing their every move and speculating on their supposed unfair advantage. This mental exercise yields no tangible benefit, fostering only resentment and distraction. Useful thought. Instead of dwelling on the colleague's success, the individual reflects on the qualities that led to their advancement. They identify areas for personal growth, seeking to improve their own skills and contribute more effectively to the team. This shift in focus transforms a potentially destructive emotion into a catalyst for self-improvement and professional development. Similarly, consider political discussions. Wasteful thought. A person spends all their time ranting about the opposing political side, engaging in personal attacks and spreading unverified information, without contributing to constructive dialogue. Useful thought. The person engages in informed discussions about policy, seeking to understand different perspectives and contributing to solutions that benefit the community. They focus on common ground and strive to bridge divides, rather than exacerbating them. Aurelius's injunction is not a call to indifference, but a call to intentionality. It is a reminder that our thoughts are a powerful tool, capable of shaping our character and influencing the world around us. By directing our mental energy towards pursuits of common utility, we not only enhance our own well-being, but also contribute to the flourishing of society. 6. You are a little soul carrying around a corpse. The stark phrase, "You are a little soul carrying around a corpse," serves as a poignant reminder of the inherent duality of human existence. It highlights the delicate balance between our ethereal essence and our tangible, yet transient, physical forms. This concept, far from being morbid, offers a profound framework for understanding the complexities of life and the choices we make within it. Our little soul embodies our consciousness, our values, and the intangible aspects that define our individuality. It represents the seat of our emotions, our intellect, and our moral compass. In contrast, the corpse symbolizes our physical body, a vessel that, while essential for our earthly experience, is ultimately subject to decay and mortality. This juxtaposition underscores the ephemeral nature of our physical existence and the importance of prioritizing the cultivation of our inner selves. Living with this awareness transforms our perspective. It encourages us to transcend the superficial allure of material possessions, fleeting pleasures, and societal validation. Instead, it urges us to focus on nurturing our souls through acts of kindness, intellectual pursuits, and the cultivation of meaningful relationships. We recognize that true fulfillment lies not in adorning our corpses with external trappings, but in enriching our inner lives with purpose and virtue. Moreover, this understanding fosters a deeper appreciation for the present moment. By acknowledging the finite nature of our physical existence, we are prompted to live with intention, to savor the beauty of each day, and to cherish the connections we forge with others. It encourages us to embrace vulnerability, to confront our fears, and to live authentically, guided by the wisdom of our souls. In essence, the dance between soul and corpse is the very essence of the human experience. It is a delicate balancing act, a constant negotiation between our earthly desires and our spiritual aspirations. By recognizing the inherent tension between these two aspects of our being, we can navigate life with greater clarity, purpose, and compassion. We can choose to live not as mere custodians of our corpses, but as vibrant expressions of our little souls, leaving behind a legacy of love, wisdom, and meaningful contributions to the world. 7. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger and lust than the causes of them? Liam and Sarah were once the picture of young love. Their connection was a wildfire, a consuming passion that seemed to defy reason. But within that intensity lay the seeds of their undoing. Their arguments, though infrequent, were volcanic. A single misspoken word, a perceived slight, could ignite a fury that left emotional wreckage in its wake. One evening, a minor disagreement about a dinner reservation escalated into a raging tempest. Liam, fueled by a simmering anger, uttered a cruel and thoughtless remark. Sarah, wounded and humiliated, retaliated with words that cut deeper than any knife. The cause of their strife, a mere dinner plan, was quickly forgotten, lost in the hurricane of their mutual rage. The aftermath was devastating. The once vibrant apartment felt cold and hostile. The silence between them was thick with unspoken recriminations. The lust that had once drawn them together now twisted into a bitter resentment. Their shared history, the countless moments of joy and intimacy, seemed insignificant compared to the raw pain of their recent conflict. Liam, haunted by the venom he had unleashed, tried to apologize, but the words felt hollow. Sarah, her trust shattered, retreated into a shell of wounded pride. The consequences of their anger, the deep scars etched into their relationship, far outweighed the triviality of the initial dispute. Their story, once a testament to the intoxicating power of love, became a cautionary tale. The heat of their passion, unchecked by reason and restraint, had consumed them. They learned, too late, the bitter truth, that the fleeting satisfaction of anger and the momentary indulgence of lust leave behind a wreckage far more grievous than the petty provocations that ignited them. The embers of their love story, once so bright, were now cold, a stark reminder of the devastating price of unchecked emotion. Never regard something as doing you good if it makes you betray a trust, or lose your sense of shame, or makes you show hatred, suspicion, ill will, or hypocrisy, or a desire for things best hidden. Elias was a rising star in the antique trade, known for his keen eye and persuasive charm. He had a particular fondness for silver, and when he discovered a rare, intricately crafted set of silverware hidden in an old estate, his heart raced. The owner, a frail elderly woman named Mrs. Albright, trusted Elias implicitly, believing he would appraise the set fairly. However, the allure of the silverware proved too strong. Elias, driven by a desire for quick profit, decided to undervalue the set significantly. He reasoned that Mrs. Albright, unaware of its true worth, would accept his offer, and he could then sell it for a substantial sum. He presented Mrs. Albright with a low appraisal, fabricating stories about its condition and market value. Mrs. Albright, trusting his expertise, reluctantly agreed to sell. As Elias walked away with the silverware, a flicker of unease gnawed at him. He tried to dismiss it, focusing on the potential profit, but the feeling persisted. Over the next few weeks, Elias found himself increasingly isolated. He avoided the antique community, fearing his deception would be discovered. He became suspicious of every compliment, interpreting it as a veiled accusation. His once warm demeanor turned cold, replaced by a guarded and resentful air. One evening, he found himself staring at his reflection. The man staring back was a stranger, his eyes filled with a coldness he didn't recognize. He realized that the silverware, meant to bring him wealth, had instead robbed him of his integrity. He had betrayed Mrs. Albright's trust, lost his sense of shame, and allowed suspicion and ill will to poison his soul. The desire for the hidden profit had led him down a path of moral decay. He understood then the truth of the old saying, that no gain, no matter how tempting, could justify the loss of one's character. He returned the silverware to Mrs. Albright, confessing his deceit and accepting the consequences. Though he faced the scorn of his peers, he found a measure of peace in reclaiming his honesty. He learned that true wealth lay not in material possessions, but in the integrity of one's soul. 9. Consider that before long you will be nobody and nowhere, nor will anything which you now behold, nor any of those who are now alive. Consider that before long you will be nobody and nowhere, nor will anything which you now behold, nor any of those who are now alive. This stark pronouncement, often attributed to Marcus Aurelius, is a powerful meditation on the ephemeral nature of existence. It's a call to confront the inevitable dissolution of self and the transient nature of the world we perceive. While seemingly bleak, this realization, when properly understood, can be a catalyst for a more meaningful and purposeful life. The core of this statement lies in the recognition of our own mortality and the impermanence of all things. The nobody and nowhere signifies the ultimate erasure of our individual identities in the grand scheme of time. The anything which you now behold, and any of those who are now alive, emphasize that even the most cherished aspects of our present reality are destined to fade into oblivion. This is not a nihilistic declaration, but a sober acknowledgement of the fundamental truth that all things are subject to change and decay. This understanding can serve as a powerful antidote to the anxieties and attachments that often plague our lives. When we grasp the fleeting nature of our existence, we are less likely to become consumed by trivial concerns or to cling to fleeting pleasures. We are prompted to prioritize what truly matters, cultivating virtue, fostering meaningful relationships, and contributing to the well-being of others. The materialist's pursuit. A person who defines their worth by their possessions and social status lives in constant fear of losing them, their happiness dependent on things that will not last. Someone who understands the impermanence of material wealth focuses on cultivating inner peace and finding contentment in simple joys, knowing that these are the things that truly endure. 10. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. The maxim, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it, encapsulates a powerful ethical principle, advocating for integrity and honesty in our actions and words. It underscores the importance of living in accordance with moral values and steering clear of deception. This principle doesn't just apply to grand actions and pronouncements. It extends to the minutiae of daily life. For instance, if you witness someone dropping their wallet, you would return it to them, rather than keeping it for yourself. By adhering to this principle, we can cultivate a life of honesty and ethical conduct, thereby contributing to a more wholesome society.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found these lessons from Marcus Aurelius inspiring and helpful. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Your support really helps me create more videos and grow our community. See you in the next video.